Welcome to Confessions of a Modern Artist. I'm your host, Luke Wynn. And my confession for today, I knew my career was over when I started driving Uber. Yeah, this is my confessional. 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 First of all, how are you guys doing today? Is the year going the way you thought it would be? Has it been going according to plan? If not, welcome to my life as a modern artist. Me and my wife, we were living in Reno, Nevada, and I just knew that there were certain things that I would not be able to accomplish from the standpoint of being an artist in that city. It's just not a city that's conducive for artists. You're not gonna blow up there. And for some reason, after 10 years, I was finding no real traction. So I really felt like God wanted me to go to LA. I'm not in LA, but that's a whole different story. We're gonna keep it with today's confessional. So we end up here in Phoenix, and we had big dreams. Big dreams. We were working with my dad on his movie. I was screenwriting. Actually, I got a contract to write 6 episodes for a TV series. I started making the best music I had ever made in my life. Things were it just felt so good to just be around something so new. And that quickly came to a halt. It quickly came to a halt. We got to a point where we didn't know how or if we were going to be able to pay our rent. Things became really, really bad, but you already know, as a modern artist, things don't always go the way you want. You're not immediately able to just make money off your craft, And that's something that we faced that year. This was 2021. And I just remember, just in that moment, I just had so many big dreams, and I'm making this great music. And I have that feeling this is the one. This is what's we did it. This music is crazy. If I just get it into the right people's hands, I was trying to make connections. I was trying to learn. I was trying to do whatever it took to take things to the next level. And they were falling. We were in Tempe, which is in the Valley, Phoenix area. And we, tried to go to LA. We would go to LA. All right, so we were living in an apartment. We could barely afford to pay it. Actually, we were out of there. We had to figure something else out. So we go to LA, and we're looking at $5 million homes. Oh my gosh. Yes, we were looking at these mansions and stuff like that. I'm such a dreamer, you guys. I'm always gonna give us hope. I just refuse to retreat. But yeah, so at this point, we just had so many high hopes. I had a couple meetings in LA, had a couple gigs that I did out there as far as just on the TV side, And after all that, we end up living with my brother. My wife, she was pregnant at the time. We already had 2 kids. He had a 3-bedroom apartment. And we go from looking at $5 million homes in LA to living in 1 bedroom in my brother's apartment. And yeah, I actually, I actually had at one point, because like I said, can't nothing keep me down. At one point, living with my brother, I was streaming my music, right? I dropped a single. And I was like, yo, maybe I can trick the algorithm by just pressing play and always letting my music play. So we had about 7 different computers. We had 7 different computers and devices playing my single all the time, constantly. And this man's Wi-Fi bill the next month was crazy. He was like, Luke, my bill was $300 this month, bro. The saddest part, I'm so sorry, Alex. To this day, I haven't paid him back. I got you when things get better for me. Oh my gosh. So funny, man. Just always dreaming. But anyways, Anyway, so during that time, like, things were not working out. Like, as far as me just trying to look for a job, I'm like, yo, I got my college degree. Like, I can do something, you know? I even, I even applied for a job at In-N-Out wearing a three-piece suit and a bow tie. I didn't even get that job, y'all. I was down bad for sure. But thank God, thank God he has a plan. But before we continued to see how his plan was going to pay out, I had to start Uber driving. And when I tell y'all, I was miserable, y'all. Like, I'm this guy who's never drunk, never smoked, never been clubbing, I've lived a very sheltered life. And here I am driving at 2:00 in the morning, car smelling like marijuana and stinking alcohol, being yelled at, people talking like it was a very, very miserable experience. And I remember just how agonizing it would be. Just like you just have these big dreams and you're in your little small car, hoping to get a tip, I've done some crazy drives for like $7, shout out to my boy Alex, because when he at one point, he was there too, and when he was driving Uber, he was crying in his car. But I never cried, but I would just drive really angry. And one time it occurred to me, I was like, maybe God put this on my heart, but it's like, I'm spending so much energy being mad, driving, like just angry at this, what is my only job at this point, And I was like, whether I'm happy, sad, angry, mad, I got to be in this car for 12 hours. So why not just be happy? Why not just be joyful, And it's so funny because I finally got out of that funk. It was literally like immediately. I said, okay, you know what? The next person comes in, I'm going to make it seem like I'm happy to be here. And as soon as that happened, like, had a great conversation. I played them some of my music. They followed me on social media. Like, they became a fan, And I just continued to live, like, every single drive. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for choosing Uber. I changed my whole attitude, and I made a giant pivot because I realized no one was being miserable except me. No one was affected by it. Nobody in my car forced me to drive Uber. Am I going to be mad at God because my dream wasn't how I thought it should be? No, so being miserable and feeling like, your career in my life is just over because I had these giant expectations that I didn't feel like I met them. It was only hurting me. It was only making me a hard person to be around. It was only making me to be poisonous to my kids, But the moment I switched my attitude and I chose joy. I chose happiness in a situation where I could have stayed miserable. I could have had any excuse to be like that. Choosing joy, I got more tips. I got better ratings. I got better rides. It became a more enjoyable experience. I met some extremely dope connections. I made clients who paid me thousands of dollars through Uber. It's so funny. And then at the end of the day, I was able to make more money than I've ever made before through Uber. So it's so funny because a lot of times we think, because the plan that I have for my life, it's not going according to how I want it, my life is over. So here I am just complacent. And when you get that attitude and you choose to be miserable and doing something that's just momentary, you don't move forward. But me having joy, understanding the bigger picture, I was able to like just really put things into perspective. I started my production company. I was able to start getting clients through podcasting and through that type of stuff. I was still making music. I was still having a means of providing for my family. And ultimately, I was able to have test subjects. And that's the biggest blessing that has come through Uber because, as I said in the last episode, being in a small city where everybody knows you, making music, it's like, if it's good, it's going to feel good. But it's such a small niche market that the context is there. It's like, oh, we know Luke. Oh yeah, this is dope. Luke did that. So me now being in a different city, playing my music consistently, like I've done like 3,000 rides. Only one drunk, like 90-year-old man didn't like my music, but it actually gave me like a boost to understand, oh, Luke, you don't suck. It's not that you haven't been discovered or blown up because you suck. People just don't even know. So giving people the opportunity to hear my music and to see where I am as an artist, they all enjoy it. And that's been so crazy to me because something that I thought would end my career actually gave life to it. It gave life to the point where I understood how I can minister to those people how I can minister to people who get into this car, who are going through things, how my music can breathe life, how just the feeling and the heart and the soul in my creation that God blessed me to be able to do, how that affects people in church, outside of church, people who are broken, people who are drunk, people who are high, people who are going through it. I've been able to see like the impact that can be made through this art. And because of that, like I have such an optimistic viewpoint of who I am as an artist, but also I'm finally able to view things beyond how many followers I have on Instagram. You know, I'm finally able to view my career beyond how many streams I got this month. Because people may not know about it, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be able to make an impact. And every single time I get into that car to drive Uber, I'm making an impact in someone's life. And my music is always playing. And it's just funny how life works. Things go in full circle. A lot of times we think that things have to go the way we want them to go. But when you let go and have joy in letting go, you find like there's just revelation in that. Because when you let go of what your plans and what your desires are, and you accept what God is trying to do in your life, it allows you to have freedom and peace in knowing I don't know where I'm headed, but I know that God knows where I'm headed. And as long as I'm in his will, I'm headed the right direction. So that's my confession for today. Have you guys ever worked a job, or do you feel like you're at a place in your life where you feel like your career is over? Is that your confession for today? If it is, I want to give you hope in knowing you have to look beyond who you are and what you think and what your viewpoint is, and understand how God can use that place where you're at to manifest the greatness and the purpose that he has for you. But you have to have a posture of purpose. She's screaming again. I'll talk to you guys soon. Yeah, this is my confessional. This is my confessional. This is my confessional. This is my confessional. This is my confessional.